There is a men's mental health crisis. What current paradigm would you change in order to help other men? Community. We all need community. Promote male role models in education. I don't know, but I can vouch for the fact that the current situation is not working. Added, I am also a combat veteran, so I've been through the absolute worst culture of suck it up pussy, hypermasculine, lack of genuine aftercare ever. Sadly, I don't think much can change till we get to the root issue of it all. More men these days feel more alone than ever. Loneliness, if not handled properly, can kill. Open community brotherhood centers. A place for men to gather, play games and sports and eat and drink together. Also offer some form of practical education and group therapy for those who need it. Literally believe men when they are being abused. Added, lads, it's clearly evident we suffer from dismissal. I am so sorry to all who have spoken up only to be left broken and discarded alone. I hope we all possess the fortitude to keep our power and never be victims again. I am just very open about being in therapy for 3 years. Normalizing it and making it less awkward. When people ask me, "Are you in therapy?" I just go, "Oh yeah, it's great, are you?" And it seems to help breaking the mold. But yeah, seek help. If you put the same amount of time into looking up your mental health that PPL put into finding penis enlargement solutions or how to get Viagra without a prescription, that's another stigma there. With that, I think we would have a better society in general. You can be emotionally open without being weak. Personally, I feel that hobbies with a sense of community go a long way to help end the feeling of loneliness. Since I started rollerblading again with others, I've met new people, it decreases my stress, and provides a lot of enjoyment in my life. Prior to that, I was just alone most of the time. Let others know you are there to listen without judgment. More mental health nurses. In the UK, the wait time to get seen is far too long even if the person is in crisis. The therapy services are inadequate, and if you do manage to get some, it's only like 3 or 4 sessions and you are kicked out again. To put the scale into perspective, last year, in the west coast of Scotland there were a total of 600 adult nurse university placements. Adult nurse is the term for a general nurse. There was just 6, yes, 6, mental health nurse places in universities. We need to address this immediately, and even then, it's 3 years to get a qualified person in place. Advice right now: the hardest thing emo is knowing there is a problem, or identifying the problem. I've had issues for the past 2 years, but I've recently learned the woman I live with has NPD-BPD, consistently displays traits of both. My self-worth was at an all-time low and I felt like everything was my fault. Turns out I've probably been psychologically abused without even knowing it. Just having information at hand, so I can learn about my situation, and make informed decisions on how to cope has been invaluable. As men, we are all capable of solving our problems, but we need to know how. We need more men's orgs that focus on constructive masculinity like the YMCA. Less lonely, more fun. Editor updates, fellow friends. Men need purpose and something worthwhile to fight for or protect. There's no rallying cry for a lot of men at the moment. They're never told how good they are or what potential they have. It's heartbreaking. I honestly believe men need better role models, and a lot of men need to be pushed more, myself included, in a positive, constructive way, not into the ground. Stop telling men their problems don't matter or that women have it worse. Tell them to toughen up and stop bitching. Tell them all to suck it up, obviously. Remove the stigma of therapy. Promote more male role models and create more male spaces in general. Also stop caring about societal expectations overall, and not just masculine expectations but feminine expectation. You don't have to try to be strong, but you shouldn't force yourself to open up as well. Men become as valued as women in relationships and finding a partner. I think it's just going to get worse with the way things are going now. The only thing I know I can try to is just keep an eye out for my male friends in regards to this particular problem and try to be there for them where I can. The only solution we know is the individual solution. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we can figure out something better. As I am trying to do with my son, teach him that it's okay to be sad and it's okay to talk about it. We need to stop shortchanging boys by pretending they are easier than girls to raise. It is insulting to the boys' well-being to even suggest that. Help men understand that intimacy is not sex. Intimacy can be being held, being told you're loved, and being accepted. As men, we confuse intimacy with sex and then feel very unfulfilled. So yes, intimacy is not only sex. Stop blaming men for everything negative that happens in the world. Make the justice system fair instead of misandrist. Let men use DADV support systems. The list could go on and on. Men need more interaction with other men going through the same issues so they can feel they can vent without burdening their families. Might sound obvious, but an hour or two a week with their mates in the pub could save lives. Make it acceptable to live with your family as an adult. There's literally no sense in pissing money into some greedy landlord's pocket to fund their yacht just to tell people that you live alone. Independence is not living alone. It's more about being sensible with money and your future and your health than symbols of manliness. Form small packs of a dozen men and set them loose upon a land. If men crying could be normalized, that'd be cool. Like men being represented as having any other emotion besides stoic, goofy, and unthinking. The belief that just because women in another group had it worse doesn't mean we don't have issues to deal with too. I mean, the only real way to fix it is to put an end to the need for people to work a majority of their lives to survive and allow them to actually pursue the things that make them feel fulfilled. We can talk about building men's spaces, making therapy acceptable, and putting more men in education all we want, but the root of the problem is most of us spend the majority of our time awake working, or thinking about work, because our society is built in a way where if we don't, then we can't survive. And the root of all of our other issues stem from that fear. Tell them that their lives can be complete without women and children. Basically, traditional family roles are optional and not a mandate to be happy and successful in life. To help men? Teach our children that emotional distress is normal and to express it is healthy. Teach them how to reach out for help from family and friends. Remove the stigmatization that crying is weak and men don't cry. Destroy the social construct that is toxic to men and let them be whole humans without shame. Men shouldn't be cut off from emotional education and community support. Loneliness kills. It's as powerful as smoking or alcoholism. Robert Waldinger. As I make a point in always responding to these posts, men need care. Talking about your mental health will not help if you don't receive the care you need. You might as well talk to yourself. Care for the men in your lives, and help them access the care they need that you are unable to give them. 2 things: understand the difference between patriarchy and masculinity, and that men can and are abused and need help. I would have everyone stop treating men like shit from a young age, and blaming men for everything that's ever gone wrong since the dawn of time, and telling young men they're all potential rapists, sexists, racists. Add group sessions for men only. Ditch the US healthcare system altogether and make care affordable. I don't know about paradigm changes, but everyone should engage in some type of public service. Gives a lot of perspective and helps people escape the echo chamber and loneliness fostered by the internet. TBH, I managed my depression by never talking to my dad. There's a cycle of violence and bullying, and one day I just decided to remove myself from that. It took decades, but it completely changed who I am. The people you surround yourself with are who you become. More places to burn of physical energy and gain a better body image than just going to a gym. I doubt lumberjacks, miners and steel mill workers in the past had such bad body images. Unfortunately, with the creation of white-collar jobs, going to the gym is basically another full-time job which many men may not have time for or simply not be interested in going to a gym. Men need more to do than just sit inside and play video games or play instruments, more physical social things for men. Mandatory free martial arts, woodshop, outdoor stuff, programming, etc. courses at a young age. Expression comes in many forms. Sometimes it's all the help in the world to show someone a skill they can enjoy working at. Government-sponsored Taco Tuesdays would go a long way, I'm just saying. This thread is fucking wild. Teach men about being proactive regarding emotional wellness. So many people benefit from things like 12-step program when they're taught that when they feel bad they should reach out to others, or that to be part of community they have to build it by doing service. All of that stuff applies in non-12-step contexts too. Lonely? Reach out. Want community? Be part of building it. Do esteem able acts and esteem follows. Understanding that men is the other half of the population and accepting that it is not only a crisis of men, but a crisis of humanity. Only then can it be viewed in a compassionate and non-separatist way. Perhaps accept more men in your lives as friends. Romantic relationships take too much room. Male-only type clubs. As in support groups and group therapy for males only. This kind of culture of women-only club being allowed but men club not being even considered, is sad. Too many men commit suicide. 85% of suicides are men, and we're still shamed for having mental health issues. It's ridiculous and needs to change. The idea that there is some kind of masculinity formula that will make you a real man and successful and happy. Everybody should have their own journey to success and happiness, but instead society keeps telling young men that they need to adhere to these goofy-ass standards. Just be you, that's the best foundation for self-improvement there is. Emo.